prison. For most people, this word brings images of cold concrete walls, iron bars, overcrowded cells, and the constant struggle to survive another day. Movies and news stories have shaped our imagination into believing that once you are sentenced, no matter who you are, rich or poor, you face the same fate behind bars. But what if I told you that this idea is nothing but a carefully constructed illusion? What if the reality is that, just like in the outside world, money decides everything, even the very walls that surround you in prison? Welcome to the secretive, shocking, and almost unbelievable world of luxury prisons for the rich. These are not the prisons you've seen in Hollywood gangster films or gritty documentaries. These are institutions where the so-called punishment looks more like a 5-star resort than a place of correction. Instead of overcrowded cells, there are private suites. Instead of tasteless cafeteria food, there are gourmet meals prepared by professional chefs. Instead of fights in the yard, there are yoga classes, swimming pools, and even business meetings that continue behind locked gates. And yet, these prisons are real. They exist. From Norway's Halden prison, sometimes called the most humane prison in the world, to secret detention centers in Asia, where billionaires negotiate billion-dollar deals from their cell phones, the contrast is almost too much to believe. But before we dive into the glamorous details, let's first break the greatest myth: the idea that prison is the great equalizer. The myth of equality. In theory, justice systems across the world are built on the principle that punishment is blind. Rich or poor, famous or unknown, once convicted, you serve the same time in the same conditions. Politicians love to repeat this idea. No one is above the law. But history has shown us time and time again that wealth buys privilege everywhere, including behind bars. In the United States, for example, celebrities like Martha Stewart or privileged bankers convicted of fraud rarely saw the inside of a maximum security prison. Instead, they were sent to so-called club-fed facilities, low-security prisons, with libraries, tennis courts, and art classes. Journalists investigating these places described them as more like college campuses than prisons. In Europe, some prisons in Switzerland, Austria, and Norway have been called prison hotels. Imagine being locked up but having access to a private bathroom, a personal TV, access to music studios, and professional therapists. And in countries with weaker justice systems, like parts of Latin America or Asia, the differences are even more extreme. Wealthy drug lords and oligarchs often build their own prison wings, bringing in private chefs, luxury furniture, and sometimes even family members to live with them. Guards become employees, and the prison becomes nothing more than a heavily guarded mansion. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to uncover the truth hidden behind walls of privilege. Why do luxury prisons exist? To understand how this is possible, we need to explore the system itself. Luxury prisons are not always openly advertised as VIP prisons. Instead, they are often justified under labels like rehabilitation centers, human rights models, or alternative correctional facilities. Governments argue that these prisons focus on preparing inmates for life after prison rather than punishing them. They claim that treating prisoners with respect, giving them comfort, and allowing them to maintain a normal lifestyle reduces the chances of repeat crimes. And while that may sound noble, in practice it often creates a two-tier system. The poor serve hard time in overcrowded, violent, underfunded institutions. The rich buy their way into comfort, safety, and even continued business operations. This is not just unfair. It raises serious questions about justice itself. The first glimpse inside, imagine walking into a so-called expensive prison. Instead of long, depressing hallways with flickering lights, you see modern architecture with large windows, art on the walls, and green gardens outside. Instead of a bunk bed in a small, dirty cell, you have your own private room with a desk, TV, and even a minibar. Guards don't shout at you. They politely knock before entering your room. You don't eat watery soup and stale bread. You order from a weekly menu that includes fish, steak, and vegetarian options. Some of these prisons even allow inmates to wear their own clothes instead of uniforms, blurring the line between detention and freedom. This is the reality for the wealthy. And while this may sound like paradise compared to what we imagine, it also hides a darker truth. In these prisons, power doesn't stop at the gate. It continues to grow. The dark side of privileged luxury. Prisons are not just about comfort. They are about control and influence. Wealthy inmates often use their privileged positions to maintain networks of corruption and power. With access to lawyers, internet, and even smuggled cell phones, they continue to run businesses, give orders, and influence politics from inside their golden cages. In Latin America, there have been reports of drug lords running entire cartels from behind bars. In Asia, billionaires accused of corruption continued negotiating deals while serving time. In Russia, powerful oligarchs received special treatment, creating private gyms and saunas inside prison walls. What kind of punishment is this, if life inside prison allows the rich to remain just as powerful, if not more, than before? Why the public rarely knows most ordinary citizens have no idea that such places even exist. Governments and media often avoid exposing the true nature of luxury prisons, fearing backlash from the public. After all, how can a taxpayer accept that while they struggle to survive outside, someone convicted of crimes worth millions or billions enjoys a comfortable prison stay? When journalists do uncover these secrets, the reaction is often outrage, but it fades quickly. The systems remain. And this is where our story begins. Because in the next chapters, we will take you deep inside the most infamous luxury prisons around the world, from Norway's 5-star prison that feels like a college dorm, to American private facilities where inmates pay extra for comfort, to hidden Asian detention centers where wealth buys total freedom behind locked doors. What you are about to discover will change the way you think about justice, punishment, and the very idea of prison itself. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button, because the next part of this story will shock you even more. If there is one prison that has gained global attention for its luxury, it's Halden Prison in Norway. Opened in 2010, it cost over $250 million to build, making it one of the most expensive prisons in the world. But here's the shocker. There are no barbed wire fences on the walls, no guard towers with snipers. Instead, the design looks like a modern college campus, with clean wooden interiors, natural sunlight pouring in, and green forests surrounding the area. Cells? Forget cells. Each inmate has a private room with a flat-screen TV, a personal fridge, a desk, and an ensuite bathroom with a shower. Some rooms even allow inmates to decorate with posters and furniture of their choice. Meals? Prepared by professional chefs with a menu that changes weekly. Activities? Music studios with instruments, recording equipment, painting workshops, a climbing wall, a fully equipped gym, and even cooking classes. The philosophy? Norway believes in rehabilitation over punishment. Officials claim that treating prisoners with dignity helps them reintegrate into society. But here's the catch. While poor inmates from working-class backgrounds may find themselves in overcrowded prisons in other countries, the rich and powerful in Norway enjoy a prison life that barely feels like prison at all. Would you call that justice? Or privilege disguised as human rights? Comment below what you think and don't forget to subscribe. Switzerland, when prison becomes a hotel stay. In Switzerland, where banks protect the fortunes of billionaires, it's no surprise that prisons also reflect wealth. Some facilities allow inmates to pay extra for better conditions. Yes, you heard that right. If you have the money, you can literally buy comfort in prison. Wealthy inmates get larger cells, access to private workout areas, and even permission to wear their own designer clothes. Journalists who have investigated Swiss prisons described them as cleaner, quieter, and more comfortable than many people's actual apartments. And when billionaires are convicted of financial crimes, they often serve time in these semi-luxury centers, where their punishment looks suspiciously like a retreat from public life. If this makes you angry, hit that like button right now, because the deeper we go, the more shocking it gets. Austria, justice with a smile. Austria's Loben Justice Center is perhaps the most famous symbol of Europe's luxurious prison model. Designed by an award-winning architect, this facility looks like a modern hotel lobby rather than a correctional institution. Each inmate's room includes a TV, private bathroom, and even a balcony with a view. There's a fully stocked gym, sports fields, and open spaces where inmates can relax. The motto? Prison should not punish more than the loss of freedom. But ask yourself if you're living in comfort, surrounded by beautiful design, exercising daily, eating well, and even having access to computers and education. Is that really punishment? Or is it simply a pause button in life, where the rich can reset and wait for freedom to return? Germany, silent privilege. Germany has a mix of tough prisons and surprisingly humane ones. Wealthy white-collar criminals, bankers, corrupt politicians, fraudsters often end up in prisons that are clean, quiet, and designed for rehabilitation. In some cases, these inmates are even allowed day release, meaning they leave prison during the day to work or study and return in the evening to sleep. Can you imagine? Ordinary criminals remain locked up 24/7, but the rich get to continue their careers, manage their businesses, and stay socially active. This is a silent privilege, rarely discussed in public, but it exists. The bigger question: Europe defends its luxury prisons by arguing that they reduce repeat crimes. Officials point out that Norway has one of the lowest reoffending rates in the world. But the uncomfortable truth is this: not everyone gets access to these golden cages. The poor are still sent to crowded, depressing facilities. The rich, however, find themselves in modern apartments with privileges, activities, and safety. Once again, money decides your fate, even in prison. If you believe justice should be equal, smash that like button and subscribe, because in the next part, we'll go even deeper into the United States, where billionaires, celebrities, and politicians have their own version of luxury punishment. And trust me, it's even more shocking. The United States is known worldwide for having the largest prison population on Earth. Over 2 million people live behind bars in America. For the poor, prison often means overcrowded cells, violence, gangs, and broken lives. But for the wealthy and powerful, prison can look very, very different. In fact, America has something so notorious that inmates themselves gave it a nickname: Club Fed. Before we dive into these shocking stories, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, because what you're about to discover will completely change the way you think about U.S. justice. What is Club Fed? The term Club Fed comes from the federal prison camps, FPCs, in the United States. These are minimum security prisons designed for non-violent offenders, often white-collar criminals like bankers, CEOs, lawyers, and even celebrities. Unlike maximum security facilities, Club Fed prisons have no barbed wire fences in some areas, dormitory-style housing with shared kitchens, libraries, tennis courts, and jogging tracks, access to education programs, music classes, and art workshops. Former inmates joked that these prisons felt like boarding schools for adults who broke the law. But let's be honest, this is no joke, because when a millionaire fraudster or corrupt politician ends up in such a place, the punishment is closer to a summer retreat than a prison sentence. Martha Stewart, America's luxury prison queen. One of the most famous cases was Martha Stewart, the business mogul and TV personality convicted of insider trading. She served 5 months in a minimum security prison in West Virginia. How did she describe it? Living in a dormitory with 200 women, doing yoga, gardening, and cooking. She even taught her fellow inmates how to make crafts and recipes. This was not a terrifying prison story. It was almost a reality TV episode. And when she was released, her career continued, her brand survived, and the prison experience became part of her public image. If you think this is unfair, hit that like button right now, because this is only the beginning. The business of private prisons. In the U.S. prisons are not just part of the justice system, they are a business. Companies like the GEO Group and CoreCivic run private prisons that receive government contracts. The more inmates they house, the more money they make. But here's the twist. Some of these private prisons offer upgraded conditions for those who can afford to pay. Wealthy inmates can request private cells, better food, and sometimes even shorter commutes for visiting family. It's not an official luxury prison, but it's a pay-to-play justice system. If you're rich enough, your time behind bars looks nothing like what ordinary Americans face. Celebrities behind bars. Let's talk about some other famous names. Mike Tyson, the legendary boxer, served 3 years in prison. While officially locked up, reports say he received special treatment, private workout sessions, and even privileges denied to other inmates. Jordan Belfort, the infamous Wolf of Wall Street, served time in a minimum security prison, where he reportedly spent much of his sentence networking with other wealthy inmates, even planning future business deals. Lori Loughlin, the actress caught in the college admissions scandal, spent just 2 months in prison. Her conditions? Clean, safe, and far from the nightmare most women face behind bars. Do you see the pattern? Money and fame soften the walls, open the doors, and turn punishment into a temporary inconvenience. The unseen reality. Meanwhile, poor Americans, especially minorities, are crammed into prisons where violence is daily, healthcare is minimal, and rehabilitation is almost impossible. So ask yourself, is justice blind in America? Or is justice just another luxury item available for those who can afford it? If you believe prison should be equal for everyone, smash that like button and subscribe. Because in the next part, we're leaving America and heading to Asia and Russia, where luxury prisons take corruption and privilege to an even darker level. You won't believe what's happening there. If Europe looks like a hotel and America turns prison into business, then Russia and Asia bring something even darker. A system where the rich and powerful create their own rules, even behind bars. These are not official luxury prisons advertised by governments. These are secret kingdoms inside prison walls, where mafia bosses, corrupt oligarchs, and billionaires buy freedom without ever leaving their cells. Before we open the gates to this hidden world, smash that like button and subscribe. Because what you'll hear now is so insane, it sounds like a Netflix crime drama. But it's real. Russia, golden cells for the oligarchs. Russia has some of the harshest prisons in the world. The infamous Black Dolphin houses serial killers and terrorists in tiny cells under 247 surveillance. But not all inmates experience that reality. For the rich and connected, prison becomes something else entirely. Investigations revealed cases where powerful businessmen and corrupt officials lived in cells decorated like luxury apartments, with expensive furniture, flat-screen TVs, private kitchens, and even saunas. One leaked video showed inmates enjoying caviar, expensive wine, and steak dinners. Guards didn't look like officers. They looked like personal servants. And here's the shocking part. Russian mafia bosses reportedly continued running their criminal empires from prison, using bribed guards to deliver cell phones, laptops, and even escort services. So ask yourself, is this punishment, or just a new office space for organized crime? If you think this is unbelievable, hit that like button right now, because Asia takes it even further. Asia, the billionaires' private resorts. Across Asia, the gap between poor prisoners and wealthy prisoners is staggering. In countries like Indonesia, the Philippines, and Thailand, journalists have uncovered shocking cases of luxury prison life. In Indonesia, a wealthy corruption convict was found living in a cell with air conditioning, a refrigerator, luxury furniture, and even a karaoke machine. In the Philippines, drug lords built entire private villas inside prison grounds, complete with swimming pools, recording studios, and secret tunnels. In Thailand, rich inmates bribed their way into VIP sections with private rooms, gourmet food, and visits that went far beyond the official rules. These weren't just rumors. Photos and videos leaked to the press showed luxury cars driving inside prison yards, private chefs serving meals, and inmates hosting lavish parties. China. Power over punishment. In China, stories circulate about wealthy business tycoons managing to avoid real prison time by arranging soft detention. Instead of a dirty cell, they were kept in special apartments, guarded by police. This prison life looked more like house arrest in a luxury suite. They could continue their businesses, meet lawyers, and even negotiate deals all, while technically serving a sentence. Corruption? Absolutely. But in a system where money and political influence mean everything, punishment for the rich becomes little more than a temporary inconvenience. Japan. A different kind of privilege. Japan officially has strict and disciplined prisons, but wealthy inmates there also manage to live differently. With enough money, they secure access to better medical care, private cells, and legal loopholes that reduce their prison time. It's not as flashy as Russia or Southeast Asia, but the principle is the same. Money bends the rules. The dark truth of Asia and Russia. Here's the ultimate irony. In these regions, prison for the rich doesn't weaken their power. It strengthens it. Mafia bosses, oligarchs, and billionaires use prison as a safe base, shielded from enemies on the outside. Guards become employees, and walls become protection instead of punishment. Deals worth millions, even billions, are signed from inside. So when you hear that someone powerful went to prison, remember this. In Russia and Asia, it might mean they just moved into their new luxury fortress. If this blows your mind, smash the like button and subscribe right now, because in the final chapter, we'll reveal the most shocking cases in history, where prison became a palace and punishment turned into privilege. The ending will leave you speechless. We've traveled across the world, from Norway's 5-star rehabilitation centers to America's Club Fed, to the secret golden cells of Russia and the private villas inside Asian prisons. Everywhere, one truth keeps repeating itself. Money rewrites the rules of justice. Before we dive into the final, most shocking cases, smash that like button and subscribe, because this ending will leave you speechless. The case of El Chapo, running a cartel from prison. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the infamous Mexican drug lord, was captured multiple times. And yet, even inside prison, he continued running the Sinaloa cartel. In one notorious case, he escaped from prison through a mile-long tunnel built directly to his cell, complete with lights, air, and a motorcycle on rails. Think about it. A man so powerful that his prison became part of his empire. If prison can't stop a drug lord, what chance does justice have? Pablo Escobar, building his own prison. Perhaps the most legendary example is Pablo Escobar, the Colombian cocaine king. When authorities finally pressured him to surrender, he agreed, but only under one condition. He would build his own prison. Yes, you heard that right. Escobar designed La Catedral, a prison built to his liking. It had a nightclub, a bar with expensive whiskey, a football field, a jacuzzi, even a waterfall and a giant telescope to watch the city. And the guards? They were his employees. Escobar was free to meet associates, run his cartel, and live like a king. It was less a prison and more a private palace disguised as justice. If that shocked you, hit like right now and comment below, because this story proves money can erase punishment itself. The unseen victims. For every billionaire enjoying a luxury cell, there are thousands of poor prisoners rotting in overcrowded hellholes. While the rich sip wine in private suites, the poor fight for survival with broken toilets, spoiled food, and violence every day. This isn't just about prisons, it's about society. If justice can be bought, then justice doesn't exist. The final question. So now we ask, what is prison really about? Is it punishment? Is it rehabilitation? Or is it just another marketplace where money decides everything? The truth is harsh. In our world, the rich rarely face real consequences. Prisons for the wealthy are nothing more than temporary retreats, golden cages, or even palaces. And yet, we the people still believe in justice. We still want equality. We still want a world where law applies to everyone, no matter the size of their bank account. The closing message. Remember this. Freedom is the greatest wealth of all. If you are free right now, value it. If you have a chance to build your life honestly, do it. Don't end up in a system where money decides your fate, where punishment is a luxury, and where truth is buried under gold. So hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video with your friends, because the world needs to know the truth. Together, we can expose the illusion. Together, we can demand justice. And together, we can remind the powerful that no matter how many walls they build, truth always escapes.